Today we're taking a look at the brand new 2025 Eon by Elite Archery. Welcome back to Mike's Archery, and today we are looking at the new 2025 lineup from Elite Archery, and we have got their new revision for their carbon riser bow, the Eon. Now this is the step forward from the Era. You'll notice the riser is very similar, if not exactly the same to the Era, but there are some upgraded features as we get into this bow. From here, we've got a speed rating on this bow at 336 feet per second with an axle to axle of 31 5/16. This is giving an overall cam to cam of 37 1/8 inches, and the brace height is coming in at 7 1/16. So it's got a real nice high brace height, which will make this bow a little more forgiving to shoot. Now, as we look at the advertised weight on this bow, they are advertising it at 4 pounds even. We threw it on the scale out of the box, and we got 4.4 pounds. And as we stripped the limb dampeners out of it, we got it down to 4.2, coming in just a little over what the advertised weight is. Now, as we look at the draw length option, it's got a wide draw length on this cam. It's the 25 on the low end, going all the way out to 31 inches of draw length on the top end of things. So if you're that long draw guy that needs that extra inch and you're frustrated because you can't ever find a bow that goes past 30, they've got you covered out to 31 with the new Eon. Now, as far as draw weight options, you've got a pretty wide spread here on this bow. You're able to get it in low poundages like 40 and 50, as well as 60, 65, and then of course 70-pound option on this bow. There's not any heavyweight option of 75 or even 80 that we're seeing out of some of the other manufacturers. You're just going to have to keep it right there at 70 if you're looking at their new carbon lineup. Now, the let-off is still adjustable on this cam system from 75 out to 90% let-off. And then as we look at what has changed on the new Eon from what the Era had, right off the bat, you're going to notice that rack technology, the rail accessory connection system that is on the limb pockets. So that's going to come with the availability to use some of the new accessories that Elite is coming out with, from bow slings to bipods and some other stuff that's going to mount onto those pick rails and just give a more user-friendly experience out of this bow. Now, they did upgrade to the new SP2 cam on this model with that VX module on there. So you're going to get that performance and ability to adjust this bow in 1/4 inch increments. And you're also going to see that split yoke design there at the top and bottom on this bow, with the wrap around the cam, giving it a nice smooth draw cycle. Of course, they kept the S.E.T technology in these limb pockets as well, so you got the ability to tune this bow right on the line to get those perfect paper tears out of it. Now, you've got vibration reduction in the limbs as well as on the string stops, but it does not have that lower stubby stabilizer that we're seeing out of some of the other manufacturers. You've still got your LRT on this, so you're able to adjust that cable rod if you need to take some torque out of the cables to get a perfect tune out of this bow. It's got a nice wide limb stance, 1/4 inch axles, all the things you would expect out of a top end bow, but it did not have the pick mount for the sight. You're still going to have to use conventional mounted sights on this bow because they did not get the ability to integrate that into this new riser. Now, as far as color options, now Elite has been known for a ton of colors, but they trim it down when you get to their carbon models. It's all solids here. You can get the Ninja Black, your Outdoor Green, Mountain Tan, Sienna Brown, as well as the Slate Gray. So they've got some great color options there in their solids to make this bow look awesome. Now, as we look at the price point of their new carbon bow, it is coming in underneath the price point of much of the competition. Now, if you've looked at any carbon bows these days, you're basically hitting the $2,000 mark on any of them. But Elite kept the price down on their Eon at $15.99. So with that, you've got a ton of technology and a lot of nice features built into this bow, and being a lightweight carbon riser at not the really high price point of some of the competition. So if you're looking to save a few $100 or maybe just upgrade from that $1,200, $1,300 price point that we're seeing on the aluminum bows and go to a carbon caged riser, then you can definitely get into an Elite Eon for under $1,600. Now, as we shoot this bow over the chronograph, we're going to step back, give you the breakdown on all the weights from 350 out to 500 grains, as well as a decibel reading, and of course the overall feel of the new Eon. As usual, we'll be shooting this bow at 29-inch draw length, 70 pounds, and 90% let off. So we've stepped back here to the lane, and we have got the new Eon from Elite here for 2025. This is their new carbon bow, and we are going to put this thing through its paces. As usual, we're going to shoot this bow at 29-inch draw length, 70 pounds, and 90% let off. And let's just see what kind of numbers this bow is putting up. All right, so the Eon has got, with a 350 grain arrow, 310 feet per second. With a 400 grain arrow, we've got 294. And with a 450 grain arrow, it's 277. And a 500 grain arrow drops off to 262 feet per second. So putting up some pretty nice numbers, pretty much where we expected it to be with that 336 feet per second rating on it. You're basically seeing exactly what this bow should be putting out. Now, as we take a look at the noise rating on this bow, we've got this bow coming in at 96 decibels. So right there in the middle point, not terribly loud, not terribly quiet, but a nice, quiet hunting bow right in the middle of where most of the bows fall as far as noise ratings. Now, from there, the draw cycle on this bow, the arrow was really nice. The Eon is extremely similar, even with that new cam. It doesn't change the draw cycle too much. It's still very smooth. Doesn't drop off at the back end. It drops into that 90% let off fairly nicely. And of course, if you change that up to an 80, 85, it's not going to have quite the drop at the back end of that cam. Rolls through the entire draw cycle pretty evenly, and just an overall great feel out of Elite, which is exactly what you expect all the time from Elite. Grip is great, same as last year. Still got a great feel. Then once the shot goes off, it's dead in the hand, just like we've seen in the past. The shootability of Elite is still there with this new carbon riser. Now, as we've talked about in the past with carbon risers, they do have just a little different thud or feel in your hand. If you've not shot one, I'd recommend trying it at your local shop or here at Mike's Archery, so you can kind of get the difference of what a carbon bow feels like to an aluminum bow. It's still dead in the hand, but it is just a little different feel to it. Now, we were a little disappointed in some of the features where they were lacking in the integrate stuff with the new version of the Eon. We were hoping to see them move towards some of that, since they did it with their flagship bows on the aluminum side. You did get some of the upgraded on the limb pockets. You did get the upgraded cam system for this year, but the riser is the same as last year's era. But overall, still a great shooting bow, and the price point, since it's still under everybody else, if you're looking to step into the carbon market and not kill yourself with a $2,000 purchase, this is definitely a contender with the new Eon. So if you're looking to get into a new carbon bow from Elite, be sure and stop in here at Mike's Archery. Give us a call so we can let you try one out.